You think games are, our desire to play games, a mix of chance, a mix of strategy, is a part of human nature? You think that's always been there?
I do. Yes. I think. You can say that in communities you have rivalry, hostility, and who's the best, who's the fastest, who's the strongest, and things. And if you play a board game like that, all the reality of it is sublimated into a safe terrain
Yes, the
where you
safety
can
of it.
nevertheless get angry, but it's not. It's not like that. That's one thing. But more significantly, I believe, is the question of what in India people call time pass,
Mhm.
which is not quite the same as pastime. Time pass is the question of what you do when it's too hot to do anything, which is true a good part of the day and a good part of the year. And grandmothers sit under trees with their grandchildren and they tell stories and they do this and they do that. And time pass is a very useful catch-all phrase for the existence of board games. And in India, there are many board games. Chess, of course, is the famous one, but there are quite a lot of three-in-a-row type games or fox against geese games and wolves against sheep and all those sorts of things which come out of the landscape in miniature and were played for pleasure. And also in a kind of way, it doesn't really matter who wins because you might play and it goes round and round and round. And eventually somebody wins and then they have another game. So it's a sort of that kind of rather graceful, valid function for not wasting time doing something which is stimulating and beneficial without it being overpowering in either way. So I think it is a human matter.
Of course, we humans also sometimes mix in gambling into the whole thing to add some money on top of it, which I'm sure sometimes was
Yeah.
involved here.
I think so, but probably only late on because money as such,
Yeah.
of course, that doesn't appear till quite late. But there are. We know in Mesopotamia, it's a rather interesting thing. There's a school tablet with 3 or 4 lines quoted from one literary thing and 3 or 4 from another literary thing, and one of them has this: "Oh my astragal, oh my astragal, woe is me, woe is me." And that's all we have. And I think this is an example of a genre of literature called the Gambler's Lament, because they use knuckle bones or astragals as dice. And I'm sure there were people who bet sack of this or a roomful of that and on the throw of the knuckle bones. And this extract in the school text is probably from a literary tablet in which somebody lost everything, even though there weren't coins, because I think you're right that it's a natural thing for it to accrue. And also maybe men and women play differently, because there are some games which were played in harems among girls, all on a hot afternoon where nobody was going to win anything. But the rules tablet, which gives this kind of backhanded information about it, is couched in such a way that it talks about people in a bar, because the movement of the pieces is calculated in terms of food and drink and women, what you win. So the landscape in which the rules are couched for credibility is just exactly that setup.